Hello friends, welcome back. So this is the second session of data structure and algorithms. So in this session we will learn the classification of data structure. What is classification? So what is classification? Classification is nothing but the categorization of items. Simply, classification is nothing but the categorizations of items, objects, whatever you call. That is a classification. But here we will classify the data structure. We will see how many types of data, what types of data are available. So that is called classification. So data structure are generally categorized into two classes. One is primitive data structure. And another one is non-primitive data structure. So, data structure can be classified into two categories: primitive data structure and non-primitive data structure. What is primitive data structure? So if I ask you the question, what is primitive data type? What is primitive data type? Then you who know Java, C, C++ or any programming language, they can give this answer very well. They can tell integer is a primitive data type. Yeah, definitely integer is a primitive data type. Integer, byte, short, long, boolean, float, double. So these all are character. So these all are the primitive data types. So primitive data structure is fundamental data type. Primitive data structure are the fundamental data types which are supported by programming language. Some of the programming language has a different type of data structure, different type of primitive data types, and their syntax are also different. So that is called primitive data structure. The structure of primitive data, the structure of primitive data type are called primitive data structure. So primitive data structures are the fundamental data type in which are supported by programming language. Some basic data types are integer, byte, character, long, boolean, float, double, like that. The term data type, basic data types and primitive data types are often used in interchangeable. You can say basic data type or you can say primitive data type, both are same. In simple term, you can say basic data type or you can call it primitive data types are often interchangeably similar only. You can say primitive data type or basic data type. That are the basic data type for, or you can say that this is the fundamental data types for the programming language, like integer, byte, character, long, boolean. So that is primitive data type. So the data that made by primitive data type called primitive data structure. Very clear. Next one is non-primitive. What is non-primitive? Non-primitive data structure are those data structures which are created using primitive data type. Using primitive data type, you can create a structure. You can create another data type. Suppose if I take the example in Java, we have seen student S is equal to new student. Now what is the type of data here? The type of data is student. Here, not integer, byte, character, boolean, long. We have seen in our Java courses, Java course, Spring, Hibernate, we have learned a lot about this one. What is the data type here? Data type that is a primitive data type. It means that is the type of integer, byte, character, long, boolean, float, double. But if you say it is a non-primitive data type, it means the data type is like string. Data type of student, address, person, customer, employee. So that all are non-primitive data type, because that data type is built using primitive data type. Non-primitive data structure, or you can say non-primitive data types, are those data type that are created using primitive data type. So that is primitive data type. And primitive data structure, what? The data structure that is made using non-primitive data type called non-primitive data structure. Non-primitive data structure are those data structure which are created using primitive data structure. Now what is primitive data structure? Primitive data structure is built using primitive data type. So the non-primitive data structure are those data structure that are created using primitive data type, primitive data structure. For example, example of such data structure are list, stack, tree, graph. We have seen in Java we can create a list, we can create a set. So what is the type there? That type is non-primitive. Okay, so list, stack, tree and graph, non-primitive data structure. And non-primitive data structure can be further classified into two categories. One is linear and another one is non-linear data structure. Non-primitive data type can be further classified into two categories, linear and non-linear data structure. Linear and non-linear data structure. What is the linear data structure? What is linear data structure? If the elements of the data structure are stored in a linear or in a sequential order, then it is a linear data structure. What is linear data structure? If I say simply, I will say you what is linear data structure. The data structure, or you can say the data elements that are stored in sequential order, one after another, one after another, one after another. So if I say 5 people stay in a queue, it means 5 people will stay in the queue one after one, one after another, one after another, one behind another, one behind another, one behind another, like that. So they will be staying, they are staying in a line, in a sequence. They are standing. So that is called linear data structure. The data structure or the element of the data are stored in a sequential order or are stored in a in linear order, called linear data structure. The example of linear structure is array. Array, we know what is array. What is array? In our array we will occupy some memory for the object, and in that object same type of object we will store, and all the objects will be stored in the one after another. There will be an index, in the array there will be index, and that index will occupy memory after one another. Suppose if the memory address of any particular location is 1, so the second element will be stored on which location? First location. Second element will be stored on the second location. Third element will be stored in the third location. So that is linear data structure. Linear data structure. So example of linear data structure are array, linked list, stack, queue. So these are the linear data structure. So linear data structure can be represented in memory in two different ways. One way is to have the linear relationship between element by means of sequential memory location. Sequential memory location one after another. The other way is to have a linear relationship between elements by means of link. You can give the link, that is also linear data structure. Non-linear data structure. Now element will not be stored in a sequential order. If the element of a data structure are not stored in sequential order, then it is non-linear data structure. That is called non-linear data structure means the element of a data will not be stored in sequential order, then it is called non-linear data structure. The relationship of adjacency is not maintained by the element of the non-linear data structure. Adjacency means whichever the near element, that will not maintain the relationship between the next or, so that is called non-linear data structure. So non-linear data structure example are tree and graphs. Okay, so from this diagram also you can clearly understand what is data structure. Yeah, here is data structure. You can give this definition. What is data structure? And data structure can be classified into two category. One is primitive data structure. Primitive data structure don't have any further type because primitive values are primitive only, that's it. Non-primitive data structure means the data structure that is built by using primitive data structure. Non-primitive data structure, the non-primitive data structure, the data structure built by primitive data structure. And non-primitive data structure can be further classified into two category, that is a linear data structure and another one is non-linear data structure. Linear data structures are array, linked list, stack, queue. Array, linked list, stack, queue. Linear data structure. Non-linear data structure, tree and graphs. Okay, so this is all about the classification of data structure. Session, please subscribe my channel and we will see you in the next session. Till that, bye bye and thanks for watching.